Hi, this is a small project I've started at home. It's installing vinyl flooring over ceramic tiles. You can see the before and after shots there. In order to get going, obviously the first thing I have to do is mix some self-leveling concrete. The brand I'm using at the moment is Landco. You can use obviously any brand that you like. It's fairly simple stuff to use, just mix it with water. There are instructions on the bag itself, so you shouldn't have any problems. What I've found is the easiest way is just use an old bucket, a bit of water. I've got a measuring can here and a spade to do the actual mixing. So you put your levels in first. Now, to be fair, I have actually been in the concreting game for 15 years, so it's probably a bit easier for me to sort of work out measurements than what it is for you blokes that are looking at it for the first time. But it's not that hard. You just sort of basically follow instructions, a bit of instinct. I tend to like mixing this a little bit wetter than perhaps most people, simply because I like to get the job done and not worried about waiting an extra day or two. So here we go, pick up the old shovel, jam it down the middle, give it a bit of a shake, twist it left and right. You can use, of course, electric stirrers, but I'm a bit old-fashioned this way. I just like using the shovel. It gives me a bit of exercise, and the result is basically the same. Just give you a bit of an idea what it looks like. At the moment, a bit of powder in there, as you can see it. And we'll just twist it around a bit. It takes a few minutes to sort of get this stuff working. Make certain that you get it right down to the very bottom of the little plastic container or whatever you happen to be using. Probably something with straight ends at the bottom, so you can sort of work it pretty easy. Again, it's just a matter of just twisting it backwards and forwards, and you just basically keep working it and working it, and it becomes a pain after a while, but anyway, it'll get there. And hopefully, as I say, this mix, when I finish it, will be spot on for the actual job at hand. Don't panic too much if you sort of mix a little bit too much water in it, or not enough. It's probably, it's one of those things. It's pretty forgiving sort of stuff. Basically, all we want to do is that's about the consistency. As you can see, we're in the area that I'm working at the moment. This is the ensuite of the property I'm in. You can see the ceramic tiles there. There are a couple that are damaged, which again really depends on whether you worry about lifting them out or not. But since this is going to be a firm base over the top of the existing ones, I'm not really going to move them. I just leave them where they are, and just simply pour this stuff in, and then trowel it out in a second. Again, don't panic too much. You'll make a bit of mess. The toilet, I might add, is also loose. I will be lifting it up later, but just so I can basically trowel around it. And you can use knee pads if you like. With such a small area, I wasn't worried about it. Your trowel, of course, is one of the main things, so you can float in it, and there you can go. You just run it around the edges. As you can see, it spreads really nice and easy. You don't have to sort of investigate it, and that's the beauty of self-leveling. It's a nice fine mixture, and it spreads very, very well. Doesn't take that long. I'll probably leave the whole segment in of the leveling process for this area. We'll just see how I go. Basically, at the moment, I'll just sort of I'll keep quiet and just sort of you can have a look at what's going on. It's pretty boring sort of stuff, I must admit. Basically all you're doing is just getting it as smooth as you can, making certain there's no bubbles or material anywhere in there. Keep an eye for dry patches in case you've not mixed it properly, but if you sort of spend the effort of time I should say, of twisting the old spade backwards and forwards in the bucket there, you shouldn't have any dramas, as long as you clean around the edges at the bottom of the bucket. And that's one of the reasons I like to use a fairly sharp spade rather than the little mixers. You get a feel for the material. And as you can see, this is in real time. It hasn't taken me long at all to do this little section. And I'll just plod along a little bit more, do a bit around here. Yeah, make certain you don't corner yourself in, which is one of the old tricks of the trade, as they say. And as you've probably got the idea now, it really doesn't take long to do a reasonable area. The reason that you can actually see just where my feet are at the moment, you can see the little cracked tiles. Main reason I'm putting the cement down, the self-leveling cement, is that those little lines that are physically separating, or the grout lines separating the tiles, I don't want those ridges to show up when I put the vinyl down. Look, initially of course you wouldn't see it. Give it a couple of years time, not so certain. I have a feeling that walking in and out with shoes and maybe a stone or two stuck on the bottom of the foot, you never know, the dents will most likely become prevalent, and you'll see them quite easily. But look, I could be totally wrong, and I could be doing this entire process for nothing, but I'm not that fussed about it. It's not that expensive to do, and it doesn't take long. As you can see, I've nearly completed the whole area in here, and it's only a couple of minutes gone by. So anyone that tries to charge you a fortune for this sort of stuff, yeah, just look at them and just smile and say, yeah, go jump, grab a life, try and con someone else, because it is really not that hard to do. In fact, anyone can do it, I believe, with a decent trowel. So that's the secret of the trade. Grab a good trowel, and basically you're halfway there. And I suppose it sort of makes it a bit easier to sort of game with mixtures. When you're doing it for the first time, you probably won't get your mixes right as to the quantity that you need. But again, don't panic if you mix too much. It's not a great drama. It's not expensive, the material, and you can simply clean out, drop it on the ground, let it cure, and pick up the lumps, break it up, and get rid of them into the garden bed, or maybe into the rubbish bin, which is very naughty, shouldn't do it. But it's those things that does happen. And as you can see here, I've nearly completed the entire room. It hasn't taken long at all. I'll just muck around a little bit here, just be a little bit fussy in this general area, because obviously as you're walking in through the entrance area here, that's the bit that's going to take a fair pounding, so you do want that as flat as you physically can get it. And it's not that hard. Again, everything about this is just such a simple, quick, easy. I've allowed it to cure for 24 hours, and that's the finished result. As you can see, it's not too shabby, as they say. Came up pretty good. And the next stage is to mix up the bondcrete, which is the adhesive that you need to get the planks to adhere to the concrete itself. And again, you simply follow the instructions on the material, on the actual label, I should say. It's pretty simple. I tend to mix mine a little bit stronger than what they recommend, and all I'm using here is just a little plastic cup to sort of take some measurements out. Again, you don't have to be 100% precise with your mixes. You can pretty well get away with anything. And now I'm back inside, and what we're doing here is obviously applying the adhesive. I just use a standard paintbrush, just anything you got laying around. It washes out in water, so you don't have to be too fussy. It does require 2 coats, and what I'm doing here is just applying it pretty liberally. And again, it's only a few minutes involved. It's surprising how fast this stuff goes down. As you can see, just slapping it around again. As long as you've got a pretty good coat in there, that's about all you have to worry about. You don't have to be that fussy, as long as it's covering the entire floor. The first coat is just basically just to give it a bit of tooth, seals the cement. If you try and place the tiles directly on the cement, of course, it'll adhere for a little while, but the adhesives will eventually let go, and this is just ensuring that they're going to be very, very secure. The last bit of vinyl that I laid stayed down for about 30 years and didn't move, so yeah, I'm probably a bit of a fusspot, do stuff a little bit over the top, but it generally holds and looks pretty good in the end. This is the start of the laying process for the tiles themselves. I've just popped a couple down. Now I'd like to offset the tiles to make them look half decent. It's a bit of a pain at times, but you've got to cut them, and very, very simple again. You just sort of basically line up with an existing tile. You grab a sharp blade, run it across. This particular one that I'm cutting at the moment doesn't go where you're looking at it. There it goes. She'll go somewhere else. You'll see in a minute once I cut it. That one just fits into that little spot there, the little blank in the middle. And the tiles are very, very easy to use. As you can see, just a bit of a sharp cut and snap them, and that's basically it. Grab your knife. I tend to not destroy the backing on it because I find that I can reuse most of these little bits and pieces. And the area that we're looking at here, the entire region, probably lose about maybe 1 plank, and that's about all, just in offcut. So you just double check, make certain that it fits, and once you're happy with the positioning of it, just tear off the backing paper. Now, one little thing I do is make certain that the original cut joins the original cut at the back. The one that I've just cut myself goes up against the timber on the wall there, and you can just pop it in position quite easy. So I'm making certain that the joins are all lined up nicely. Bit of pressure on it, and there she is. It drops in place really, really easy. Yeah, probably not the best angle there to see what I'm up to, but again, it's just putting a tile down with the backing paper still on it, and just making certain that it's going to fit in nicely. Once I'm happy with the positioning of it, and I've obviously marked this one and cut it again, and there she goes. And we're now going to offset it, and by having the alternating lengths, it does look nice, and you make it consistent throughout the room. The pieces that I'm saving will be going into another room, so hopefully that'll be all usable, as I said. As you can see here again, just slide stuff out of the way, and make certain that it's hard up against the wall, hard up against the one that you've just laid, and drop it in position, give it a bit of a pat, and that's that little section there. As I was saying earlier about the offsetting, it's it is time consuming very much so, but the result is well worth it. It comes up very, very nice. Just grab a full length one this time. I don't have to worry about cutting it. And drop it down, again off the backing paper. Now I think you're getting the idea of this sort of tile. Yeah, pushing hard up against that one, and again that's the original cut from the tile itself. These are Gerflor rustic style. They get a nice little bit of texture to them as well, and go pretty good. So basically at this point you can see I've already cut the next line there. I know that's the right length, so yep, just whack it in. A little piece up in the top corner there, and on the right hand side there's a little tiny gap. You can just see it there. Again, measuring, making certain the lines of everything are going to be spot on. Just cut, drop that back in position, and here's the finished product for you to have a look at. The floor came up pretty good, and I expect it'll be down for probably 30 odd years or more. Very simple, easy do it yourself project. Hope you enjoyed watching.